here from Race Positive, and I am so excited to welcome you to our first episode of What You Readin'. If you know me well, you know that I am an avid reader, and among the many books that I read are those that have a centralized theme of race and race relations. If you look on my website lately, you'll see that there's been a list of recommended readings that I provided for you. You're welcome, by the way. But I didn't want to just give you a list of books. I wanted to tell you why those books are so valuable. Now, it's important to note that this is not a comprehensive review of every single book on race ever written. That's not what this is. Instead, it's an opportunity to highlight books that I think are in keeping with the mission and vision of Race Positive, which, if you don't know, is to equip, empower, and engage leaders of all kinds to actively dismantle racism, prejudice, and bias in their unique sphere of influence. These books, I believe, have the ability to inspire, challenge, and encourage all of us to get off the sidelines and actively participating in the dialogue around race. So the first book on our list is Jodi Picoult's Small Great Thing. This is a fictional book about an African-American woman who works as a labor and delivery nurse, and she is being held criminally responsible for the death of a newborn child of a white supremacist couple. Now, let me start by saying that I loved this book. I absolutely loved this book, and I loved it for a number of reasons. One, the writing was impeccable. It was just so riveting and so engaging. It just had my attention the whole time. Two, I really appreciated the bird's eye view into the hearts and the minds of the centralized characters. And third, I really felt that Jodi did a good job of capturing, in an honest and raw way, the complexities and the nuances about race and race relations in America today. So, bravo, Jodi. But I wanted to bring to you just 3 key points that I took away from the book that I hope would be really a blessing to you as you consider reading it. So, I have some notes here. The first point that I want to make is about the character of Ruth. Now, Ruth has to really wrestle and come to grips with the idea of who she's known herself to be and the way in which the world and others are seeming to look at her and to view her. Ruth has come to see herself as a professional, a hard worker, honest, law-abiding, someone who is respectful and respectable, and having to sort of reconcile that with this new image that's being placed upon her. And I really liked this because I thought for so many people, particularly people of color, you do have that very real tension of having to reconcile who you know yourself to be and who others seem to think you are based on your skin color. And that tension can cause a lot of distress and heartbreak and insight and growth for a lot of people. And so I really appreciated Jodi bringing that to the forefront. I would have liked to see that process be developed a little bit more, particularly when we kind of see Ruth finally understanding how her lived experience as a Black woman is fundamentally and has been fundamentally different from that of others who are also Black women, particularly her sister. But I get that there probably wasn't enough time or pages to cover that and really give that justice, but I would have loved to have seen that point be developed a little bit more. Point number 2. So the character of Kennedy, who serves as Ruth's criminal defense lawyer, is another really interesting character because it's with this character that we, the reader, are invited in to really examine and consider the ways in which we have our biases and our prejudices and the ways in which that affects how we relate and how we see others. As humans, we are so heavily defended that it can be hard to do that self-examination at times. And through the character of Kennedy, I think Jodi really invites us to lay that defense down and really do some self-examination. And I think she does it in a way that's non-threatening, but really, really important. So I love that too. Third point is the character of Turk Bauer, who serves as one half of that white supremacist couple. Now, this is going to sound a bit sacrilegious coming from me, a race and diversity consultant, but I really love this character. I do, and I love this character, but not for the reasons that you might be thinking. At no point did I agree with his worldview, but through that bird's eye view writing that Jodi does, I was able to understand and see how someone like him became someone like him. And it's through that understanding I was able to develop empathy for a character. At no point did I hate Turk Bauer. I felt a lot of pain for him. I felt a lot of sadness on his behalf, but I didn't hate him. And I really appreciated that, because I think that so often when we have an idea of who someone is, but even when they're really, really horrible in character, we can just dismiss them completely. And I think taking the time to stop and to understand why they see the world the way that they do, what really drives them and motivates them in the way that it does, breeds understanding. And with that understanding, it builds insight. And that insight allows for collaboration, and collaboration will ultimately lead to lasting change. And that really is the heart and soul of Race Positive. We are saying, get people into the room. Let's sit and let's talk about honest and hard things in a way that actually is productive and leads to greater empathy, greater insight, collaboration, and most definitely lasting change. So there you have it, my review of Jodi Picoult's Small Great Things. Look, this is a fantastic book, and I don't think it's one that is meant to be read alone, even though I did kind of read it alone. But I do think it is so good and so inspiring that I really, really encourage you to find a friend, join a book club, something where you can have a space and a place to talk about it and to really process all the things that come up for you as you read it. And if you can't find anybody, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you about the book. So as we close out today, I want to leave you with this quote. And it's a quote from MLK that actually inspired the title of this book. The quote says, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things great." Until next time, bye.